Welcome to another English podcast provided by LingExam Language Academy.
Hello, everyone.
Today, we're looking into a really crucial communication skill. This session comes from How to Explain How Something Works in English, step-by-step guide for B2 learners with real-life dialogues, vocabulary, and practice.
And it's all brought to you by LingExam.com.
Exactly. Our mission today is basically to give you, our B2 listener, the tools and, well, the confidence, really, to explain processes and functions clearly in English.
We're drawing on some great source material here.
Yeah, think of it as a bit of a shortcut to becoming, well-informed and actually quite skilled in explaining things practically. So let's unpack this a bit. Why is explaining how something works actually so important in real life? It feels obvious, but maybe it's not.
Well, it's everywhere, isn't it?
It really is. Helping a friend with a new phone camera, maybe showing a colleague some new software.
Or guiding a family member with the microwave. We've all been there.
Or, the classic coffee machine explanation. These are everyday things.
Yeah, and what's fascinating, I think, is that in our world now, with new tech popping up constantly, giving clear instructions in English is just essential.
Right.
Good instructions prevent confusion, they reduce mistakes, and honestly, they help build stronger relationships.
That's a great point. At home, school, work, it applies everywhere.
And for you as a B2 learner, getting this right involves specific things. Language patterns, those sequencing words, and using grammar correctly, like the imperative and the passive voice.
Okay, so that sets the stage nicely for the practical tools we're going to talk about. So what are these tools? What do we need in our language toolbox? Our source material breaks it down quite clearly, doesn't it?
It does. It gives us some really clear categories. The first one, and maybe the most fundamental, is sequencing words.
Ah, right. The signposts.
Exactly. These are your signposts. They guide your listener step by step through the explanation. Makes it smooth.
Okay, so they help organize everything. Can you give us some key examples? How do we actually use them?
Sure. So you almost always start with first, or sometimes firstly. For instance, first plug in the device.
Simple enough.
Then for the next steps, you typically use then or next. Like next, open the application.
Okay.
To show something happening right after a step, after that works really well. After that, click on the settings icon.
Got it.
And naturally, for the final step, you've got finally or lastly. So you might say, finally, press save to complete the process.
Right. But it's not just about the order, is it? Sometimes you need to set things up beforehand or talk about things happening at the same time.
Precisely. You might use before to mention something needed first. Before starting, make sure the device is charged.
Okay, a condition.
Yeah. Or to show when something's ready or done once is very useful. Once you see the green light, you can begin.
Right.
And if things can happen simultaneously, while is perfect. While the app is downloading, you can set up your account. These words really do pave the way for clarity.
Okay, so we've ordered our steps. Now, how do we actually tell someone what to do? The source mentions imperatives are important here.
Yes, the imperative. If you think about the big picture, it's your most direct command. It's for giving clear instructions.
How does it work grammatically?
You just use the base verb right at the start of the sentence, no subject needed. So it's very direct, very concise.
Example.
Things like turn on the device, insert the card, click the OK button, and importantly, it works for warnings too. Don't forget to save your work.
And using those imperatives with the sequencing words makes it super clear, doesn't it? Like, turn on the machine, then insert your coffee pod.
Exactly. Direct and unambiguous.
Now, the source also talks about the passive voice. Why is that helpful here? It sometimes feels a bit formal.
That's a really good question. Why use the passive? Well, it's not just grammar, it's strategic. It shifts the focus.
How so?
When you say something like the settings are adjusted, you're taking the focus off the person doing it and putting it squarely onto the action, the change happening to the thing itself.
Ah, I see. So it's about the process being the main event.
Precisely. Especially in technical or, yes, formal explanations where who does it isn't the point. But what happens is...
And the structure.
It's pretty straightforward. The object then is or are, and then the past participle of the verb.
Can you give an example?
Sure. It is operated by pressing the green button. Or the settings are adjusted by turning the knob. Another one, your account is created after registration. It puts the emphasis right where you need it on the action itself.
Okay, that makes sense. But sometimes just giving steps isn't quite enough, is it? You might need to add extra bits to stop people making mistakes or maybe give them options.
Absolutely. You need phrases for clarity and caution.
Our source mentions a few useful ones.
Yes, like make sure that to
Yeah.
stress something important, make sure that the device is plugged in.
Right. Essential checks.
Or to warn against errors, be careful not to. Be careful not to press the reset button by mistake.
Okay. Very useful.
And highlighting necessary steps. It's important to update your password regularly if you're suggesting an option. If you want to. If you want to print a document, select print from the menu.
And for problems?
In case of problems, restart the app. These little phrases add that extra layer of help and prevent issues down the line.
Definitely. And beyond the grammar and structure, you obviously need the right words, the right vocabulary, especially with tech these days.
Oh, absolutely. Knowing the specific terms is vital.
What kind of terms does our source highlight for B2 learners explaining tech stuff?
Well, the basics, really. Things like menu, icon, settings, also display or screen, install or download and log in or sign up.
Yeah, the everyday words you encounter using any app or device.
Exactly. They're fundamental for these kinds of explanations.
So let's pull this all together now. How does it look in practice? Our source gives some really good real-world examples.
It does. Things like explaining a new kitchen gadget or a messaging app or even registering for something online like a webinar.
Yeah, let's look at one. The source has a dialogue between Anna and Mark about a fitness app, FitTrack. Mark explains it to Anna. How does he use these elements?
Okay, so Mark does a great job. He starts by structuring it with sequencing words. First, download the FitTrack app. Next, open the app after signing up.
Right, clear steps.
Then he uses direct imperatives like just tap on goals and go to settings and select pair device.
Yeah.
Very clear instructions. And for things that happen automatically, he uses the passive. Your steps and calories are displayed automatically.
Okay.
And he even includes that helpful troubleshooting bit. If you have any problems, restart the app or check the help section.
So he covers all the bases.
Yes, and what's really good is how smoothly he guides her. It shows how these language patterns make things clear without sounding robotic or too formal.
It flows naturally.
Exactly. He anticipates questions, gives specific instructions, offers solutions. It really shows that a good explanation isn't just rattling off a list. It needs to be organized, clear, and simple, even when it sounds conversational.
So there's a structure to it, even in casual chat. Our source outlines a kind of pattern for a good explanation, doesn't it? Like 6 steps.
That's right. A logical flow helps the listener follow along. It's like building a little story for them.
Okay, what's step 1?
Step 1. Begin with a general overview. Tell them what the thing is. For example, this is a smart blender that can make smoothies, soups, and more. Just set the scene.
Right, context first, then.
Step 2. Mention what is needed, if anything specific. You'll need fresh ingredients and a power source. Manage expectations.
Makes sense. Step 3.
Break down the steps using those sequencing words we talked about. First, wash and chop your ingredients. Next, open the lid. Keep the sequence logical.
Okay, the core instructions. And step 4 involves?
Step 4. Use those imperative and passive structures naturally. Press the start button. The ingredients are blended automatically. Mix them as appropriate.
Got it. Step 5.
Offer advice or caution. This adds real value. Be careful not to overfill the jug. If the machine stops, check if the lid is closed properly. Prevent problems.
Always useful. And the final step.
Step 6. Conclude with troubleshooting or maybe some extra tips. If it doesn't start, make sure it's plugged in. Round it off helpfully. Following this kind of structure makes any explanation much easier to digest.
That's a really practical framework. So as you get more comfortable with your English, explaining things isn't just about following steps, is it? It's about being clear, logical, and adaptable.
Absolutely. It's about more than just listing. It's about tailoring your explanation. You need to think about who you're explaining to, a friend, a colleague, a customer, and what you're explaining something physical like a machine or digital like software.
Okay, so let's talk about some of those perhaps more advanced strategies. Our source gives us 6 smart ways to really nail these explanations. What's the first one?
The first one, which we touched on briefly, is start with the big picture. Always begin by giving context. Tell your listener what you're explaining and, crucially, why it's useful for them.
Right, the why.
Yeah. It prepares them and shows the benefit. For example, I'll show you how to back up your files to the cloud so you won't lose any important documents if your computer crashes. Sets the scene, gives the reason.
That makes perfect sense. Strategy number 2.
Assess the listener's knowledge. Don't just launch into it.
Ah, right. find out what they already know.
Exactly. Ask something like, have you used this kind of coffee machine before? Or are you familiar with cloud storage? This helps you tailor your level of detail.
So you don't bore them or confuse them. Good point. Number 3.
Use logical sequencing. This sounds obvious, but it means grouping related steps together and presenting them in a really clear order, always using those sequencing words.
So keep it flowing logically.
Yeah. First, connect the device. Next, install the software. After that, create an account. Finally, log in. Keep it streamlined.
Okay. And number 4 is about combining those grammar points.
Yes. Combine imperative and passive forms naturally. It makes your instructions sound less repetitive and more fluid. For example, turn on the device. Once the light is on, the app is launched automatically. Mix and match.
Right. Strategy 5.
Highlight caution and tips. Preventing mistakes, suggesting better ways to do things.
Like,
Be careful not to touch the hot surface, or for best results, use filtered water. It shows you're thinking about their experience.
definitely adds value. And the final strategy, number 6.
Check understanding. This is so important. Don't just talk at them. Pause and ask if they're following.
Simple questions.
Yeah, simple things like, does that make sense so far? Or any questions at this point? Or even, would you like me to go over that again? It keeps them involved and ensures they're actually getting it.
6 really solid strategies there. Now, you mentioned vocabulary earlier. Are there any other, maybe slightly more advanced terms that help with clarity when explaining things?
Yes, definitely. Our source mentions several useful phrasal verbs and expressions, things like set up, meaning to install or prepare something,
Okay.
or walk someone through something, which means guiding them step by step. Very common.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Also, run a program or app, and common actions like scroll down or scroll up, fill in or fill out a form.
Right.
And terms like troubleshoot, meaning to find and fix problems and double check for verifying something. Using these makes your explanation sound much more natural and fluent.
That's a great list. And speaking of troubleshooting, that's a big part of explaining complex things, isn't it? Helping when things go wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Being able to guide someone when they hit a snag is crucial.
What kind of phrases can we use for that?
Well, you can offer specific advice. If you can't log in, double check your username and password. Simple checks first.
Makes sense.
Or, if the device doesn't turn on, make sure it's plugged in and the power switch is on. Check the basics.
Okay.
If there's an error message, if a message pops up, read the instructions carefully. Don't just dismiss it.
Good advice.
And the classic IT solution, restart the app or device if it freezes, often works. You can also point them towards more help. Check the help section or user manual, or contact customer support if the problem continues.
Very practical. Now, you mentioned explaining the why earlier. How important is that?
It's incredibly powerful. Adding the why, the purpose, or reason behind a step makes your explanation stick. People remember things better if they understand the reason.
So not just what to do, but why you do it.
Exactly. Instead of just saying, close the lid tightly, you could say, be sure to close the lid tightly so the liquid doesn't spill. Or, it's important to sign out for security reasons.
I see. It connects the action to the consequence or benefit.
Precisely. Or giving a practical tip with a reason. Switch off the printer after use to save energy. These little additions make a huge difference in understanding and retention.
That's really insightful. And finally, you touched on adapting the explanation. Can you expand on that a bit? How do we adjust for different people or situations?
Yeah, it's key. You wouldn't explain something the same way to a complete beginner as you would to someone experienced, would you?
No, definitely not.
So for beginners, use simpler sentences, maybe repeat key steps, demonstrate if you can, keep it basic and clear.
Right.
For more advanced users, you can use more technical terms, maybe mention shortcuts or extra features they might appreciate.
Okay.
And think about written versus spoken. Written instructions often use bullet points, maybe screenshots. Spoken explanations need you to speak more slowly, pause, check understanding more often. It's all about tailoring your communication.
That makes a lot of sense. Adapting is key. So let's try and quickly summarize the main takeaways from today about explaining how something works effectively in English.
Okay, well, I think the most important points are always start with the context, the what and the why.
Right.
Use those sequencing words first, next, finally, to create a clear path. Use imperatives like press this for direct instructions, and the passive voice like it is done when the action is the focus.
Got it.
Don't forget to add helpful tips and warnings. They add real value.
Definitely.
And crucially, adapt your language for your listener. And always, always check their understanding as you go. Ask questions, summarize.
Excellent summary. And by practicing these skills, you're not just helping someone else out.
No, you're becoming a much better, more confident communicator in English yourself.
Exactly. Remember, every time you help someone understand how something works, you're strengthening your own language skills and, well, making life a bit easier for everyone involved.
That's a great way to put it.
We really hope you'll keep practicing these skills. Honestly, the more you explain things, the more natural it'll feel and the more fluent your English will become.
It really does build confidence.
If you are ready to keep building your real-world English skills, you can find loads more valuable content over at LingExam.com. Definitely check it out. And we've got a suggestion for your next step, too. Check out the article Asking for Directions, a complete tutorial for B2 learners. Another really practical skill.
Very useful.
So stay positive, keep learning, and your next English milestone is definitely just around the corner.
Absolutely. Keep at it.
This has been an episode of How to Explain How Something Works in English. Step-by-step guide for B2 learners with real-life dialogues, vocabulary, and practice, provided by LingExam.com.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for joining us.